During World War II, those spying on behalf of the Allies had to go through considerable trouble in order to make sure that they weren't discovered by the Nazis while securing Axis secrets. Aside from going out of their way to disguise their appearance as much as possible, which involved the perfect type of clothing that didn't make them look too English, they sometimes had to resort to trick shoes like this to throw Nazi forces off their tracks. These shoes work similarly to those employed by moonshiners during Prohibition, which were likely the inspiration. The soles faced the opposite direction that the wearer was walking, making anyone tracing their footsteps believe that the wearer was walking towards them, rather than away. Lebanon pre-Civil War, Byblos, 1965. Photo by Raymond Depardon. Portraits of Ellis Island Immigrants by Augustus Sherman, circa 1905 to 1914. Sherman worked as a clerk on Ellis Island from 1892 to 1925. During his breaks, he would ask newly arrived immigrants to sit for an intimate portrait. In total, he took around 200 photos. Ellis Island was active for more than 60 years, from 1892 to 1954. During that time, more than 12 million people passed through, often escaping political and social turmoil back home. Others came seeking a better life and a fresh start in the so-called land of opportunity. An Indian student studying late at night at the University of Madras in Tamil Nadu, 1905. Students used to tie their hairs to a nail in the wall to prevent themselves from falling asleep while studying late at night. Enter the Giant on a plane traveling to Japan, 1980. Breaker Boys at the Woodward Coal Mines in Kingston, Pennsylvania, 1900. Breaker Boys worked in the coal mines. Their main job was to separate chunks of coal by hand. As coal came down the conveyor belt, they would break up the coal into common-sized pieces and also separate out any things like rocks, clay, and soil. Boys were usually between the ages of 8 to 12, but sometimes were as young as 5 or 6. The Breaker Boys would work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. A German woman sitting alone with her dog and all her belongings in the ruins of Cologne, 1945. He cast who played Hux in The Return of the Jedi. A German coal miner waiting to get into the communal shower at the end of a long shift, 1958. In 1731, King Frederick I of Sweden sent a taxidermist his favorite lion who had died, and this is what he received back. King Frederick's lion is on display to this day at Gripsholm Castle, a former royal residence, and now a museum in Mariefred, Sturmanland, Sweden.